Tackle sales and miss of how the devil. Oh, hey up, Matthew. How you doing, brother? Flipping heck. So this is the Wednesday Waffle. A couple of minutes late. Just got off recording my first podcast. So that is the first bit of news for this week in business. It's been quite an interesting week, and I'm not going to go into it, but basically I had a lot of issues with health issues with my mother this week, which was actually a bit of a massive shock. So I had a couple of days out, but yeah. So what's been going on in business this week? We're now a week further on. I obviously announced last week that I'm going to be leaving the military. So I had my first interview with my platoon commander just a few days ago. And since then it has been, full steam ahead, preparing for life on the outside. Although clearly I'm going to be serving out a 12-month notice to just give me the time to really be prepared. Hello, Pav, mate. How you doing? So this weekend coming, I've got my first two in-person sales shows. So I'm going to a point-to-point meeting with the Kimberwick up at Dingley Races, and then Sunday I will be at Solihull, which is just outside Birmingham, probably about 15 miles away from where the gilets are made. So that's going to be quite exciting. For about 4 days, I was trying to get hold of the people that make these polo tops, and just getting ghosted. So I was pretty concerned that they had almost $8,000 of my money and they weren't picking up the phone. But it turned out the sales manager who I'd been in conversation with, she was actually on holiday in Miami. So that's why I didn't hear from them. So this style and the other style of polo top, apart from the fact this logo is going to be half the size, they are embroidered, they're cut, and they're in the process of being made currently in East London. So they will be posting out next week, mid to late next week. So I'm quite excited about that. A little update with the flat caps. So we've got this Union Jack line in here, and then Mark Collins in Royal Wootton Bassett, who makes them for me, he's basically, I didn't even ask him to do this. This, just for me, it's like how strong these connections I've been making are. He's gone through the trouble of basically having some custom printed Union Jack lining with the little Guardsman logos on it. So I cannot wait to see them. So that's pretty bloody exciting. I posted a video about badminton horse trials and what I sort of noticed there, and I've been pretty taken aback by. I thought it was just me noticing these things, but it's clearly something that a lot of people have been noticing, and that's it's really spurred me on this week actually. The sort of support I've been getting from people. I've got my first bit of not first bit. I had that sort of review that someone from my own regiment put on there. But yeah, I had a woman get hold of me and start basically, she was commenting on one of my posts, and I think she had started her own equestrian clothing brand at one point, had it all made overseas, and it inevitably failed, like a lot of these things do. But she basically started having a go at me, and I just, curtly put, it's not just about, because she was saying, these companies aren't pretending to be British made, and it's clearly that they are with the British heritage and the Union Jacks and stuff. And I just basically framed to her quite nicely, it's all well and good wanting to make a quick profit, not being worried about keeping the money in our economy. But equally, you know, it's a lot. You know, in these factories, certainly in the Far East, humans are being taken advantage of, basically, getting paid literally pence per item to work. So, you know, but yeah, there was a bit of, I basically sent her one message replying, just stating my reply, and said that I won't reply to her again. And then she proceeded to start sharing onto her story stuff about me, and at the end of the day I just thought, well, thank you for the free engagement. Aka Daniel, mate, so if you just hang on about another 5 minutes, I go through all the questions at the end. I'm just talking about stuff that's been going on in the business this week at the moment. So yeah, so that was quite interesting, you know, started getting not just positive engagement, but now negative people starting to kick off at me. So yeah, living rent-free in someone's head and getting some free engagement. So hey-ho, only well. And then what else? So there is a lady who is an F1 commentator for the BBC, among some other smaller media outlets, who has one of my smocks. And let's pray for rain at Monaco this weekend. Again, a connection through my brother. We've got a professional rugby player who's has been on the England team, and he will be helping me with a bit of marketing in the future. So that has been really positive. I went and met one of the last to be announced sponsored riders this week. I went to I spoke about the fashion show actually last week, didn't I? That's why the Wednesday Waffle was late. But yeah, and then over the weekend, like I said, with the stuff that's been going on in the family, I was in work, but very much my thoughts were elsewhere. And yeah, and then we have been waiting for some fabric for the tackle tails. I'm not going to reply to that, but I'll just take a look at some of the stuff. Yeah, so we're waiting for some of the Harris tweed to be delivered to the factory in Birmingham, so the maroon boiled wools could be finished in production. So they are all cut. They're ready to go. The rest of the fabric arrived today at the factory, so they will be posting out next week. I'm picking up the Sherpa gilets on Friday, and then I will be at shows all weekend. So that have I forgot anything, Little Ears?
No, that sounds about it, I think.
That's about it. Oh, and I've got my summer. This got delivered yesterday. We've set this all up now so I can take card payments at shows, and I didn't think I'd ever be excited about a card reader. I almost feel a bit silly as I did about getting excited about me buttons when I saw this. So yeah, me Lockwood buttons that I've had made in the Cotswolds for me polo tops. So yeah, plenty going on. And I've been today getting shows booked and lined up. I've organised my calendar for July and August, and it is basically balls to the wall constantly. I've got a couple of days off. I think I've got a day off for my birthday. But yeah, other than that, it's all steam ahead at Lockwood Smocks. So no, that's interesting to know. Right, okay, so that's pretty much it for this week in Lockwood Smocks. If you've got any questions at the moment that you want to ask, please do let me know. I'm just going to go back through the comments now and see what people have said. There was a gentleman asked me something. Would you ever consider doing MTP Harbour Barber style smocks, or adding lining, etc. into the issued kit to give them survivability and alley touch to the buckshoe that can afford to pump £300 into a jacket they can only wear an X. So the Brecon smock doesn't have a sort of insulated lining, but they're made oversized so that you can layer up underneath it pretty much. And I designed that so it'd be a versatile camp and exercise jacket that is just made to bloody last. But I've thought about ideas of a Brecon Mammoth that has basically an insulated lining, but certainly in the future it's something that may well be done. It's just with how expensive they are to make anyway, and my margins being so thin, I need to make sure it's a product I'm going to be able to sell, because I just can't afford to have funds locked up in the business basically. So the short answer is yes, there are plans, but just not quite yet. But like I said, they're made big enough that they can be that you can layer up underneath, and that's the whole idea, that you've got something that is it's just an all-around good camp smock, epic exercise smock, that are made to last you, like the Dragon Supplies kit, they give you like a lifetime warranty on it, because they're that sure of their kit. And these smocks, I think you have, I need to double check it, but it's something like a 24-month guarantee just on the workmanship, which is pretty rare for a factory to offer that. So these things are made to bloody last. And then the fabrics are so stiff that any bits that you do want to get done, any repairs, it's easy to do, So tackled tails, on that comment, I don't really know where I'd stand to being sued if I start naming directly other companies. But what I would say is, to anyone that sees any companies with Union Jacks or stuff on it, ask them where their stuff is made, because they can't lie, but a lot of brands, they'll answer questions with certain language of, it's designed in the UK, or it's finished in the UK, or it's British heritage inspired, and that is something that I quickly worked out at Badminton, some of the lingo that's used in the market to lead you to believe certain things. And I know there are companies that have maybe their big ticket items made in the UK, and then the rest of their line has a similar sort of price range but is not made in the UK, all on sort of people's assumptions that stuff is made here when it just isn't. See you Saturday eating, mate. Hello Lydia, how you doing? Production update on the wool gilets. So the boiled wool are due to get posted out next week. I'm still waiting on the lamb's wool, but everything is all ready, all the trims, the tweed linings, everything like that, it's all ready to go. So it's a case of as soon as we get it, you're sort of waiting about another week, but we're hopefully on schedule to be posting them out by the end of this month, so sort of about another 10 days or so, or just shy. That is the hope, but again, I'm just sort of slightly held back by supply chain, but it's en route, mate. Sweet, mate. Sounds good. All the best. Now then, how the devil, McCormick. Right, okay. So a pretty short one this week. After coming off the CAPB podcast, I'm pretty hungry, pretty knackered, pretty tired. Want to eat and just get my head down tonight. Thanks for the update. Look forward to receiving, mate. I cannot wait to post these out. I can't wait to bloody get my own one back. Because the first two I'd made, I had to give them away to Gaspard Maxud so he could wear them on the badminton trot up. So, yeah, no, cool. Thank you all for tuning in. And as always, even if it's not something that you're in a position to purchase now or not something that you'd be interested in purchasing, but you like what I'm doing, please comment on stuff that I'm putting up. Like it, share it, tag friends in. Please help me grow the brand. Because just as little as a couple of clicks, a couple of little types can do so much for helping me get the message out there and help me back Britain and do great things for really worthwhile causes in the future. So thank you all. Good night. God bless. And as always, God save His Majesty the King.